So, today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the Garmin Striker 4 portable kit, sonar / depth finder, fish finder, whatever you want to call it. Basically, this is an entry-level sonar from Garmin. To begin with, I think this is an amazing little device that can help you catch more fish and especially take the guessing work out of prospecting new places, new lakes, rivers, whatever you happen to fish on. For starters, the Garmin Striker 4 comes with a bunch of accessories that make it portable. First, let's talk about what the portable kit comes with. Now, obviously, we have the transducer with the suction cup mount. It also comes with the 7 ampere-hour battery, which is behind here. You have an access door behind the case for easy access to the terminals and to charge the battery. It also comes obviously with a battery charger, and it has an indicator light that shows you when the battery is charged. So this is a 12-volt battery, 7 amp per hour, and after several tests and using it for a couple days out on the water, I've been on a 3-day fishing trip, and it did last the whole 3 days without any issues at all. In fact, I don't know how full it was, but I guess there was at least 25% charge left on the battery after 3 days of fishing. Now, let's take a look at the sonar. So what are some of the modes that you can use on this sonar? To begin with, we have the traditional mode that everybody knows, where you have your bottom structure, obstacles in the water. Those arcs here typically represent fish, some more fish around structure on the bottom. At the top, I've configured this earlier, you can have your compass, so it shows you the direction in which you're pointing. It's right up here. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see this properly. On this screen, as you can see right now, it's on auto zoom, so if the depth level changes, the zoom level will change as well to have the structure on the bottom. If we keep on the screen long enough, then you will probably see it adjusting by itself. So right now we're in auto zoom range. As you can see, it just adjusted again because the bottom moved. We actually have a drop here. This is simulation mode, but if there was a drop, the screen would readjust as it did just now. But you can also adjust this manually. So if we go into manual range, I can change the range to lower or higher directly. See, I cannot go below the bottom, but I can go up into the column of the water. Okay, this is directly on the screen. Now in manual range, as you can see here, if I move left and right, then I'm just going to move the pointer and probably try to find whatever I've seen on the screen, a fish, exactly at what depth it is. So here on the right, it shows the depth of what I'm pointing at. Now if I go back, it continues scanning and showing me everything right now at the defined range and speed. The second mode available on the sonar is the flasher mode. And if some of you have ever ice fished, you probably know exactly what that is, especially if you're vertical ice jigging. This is an amazing mode for such a small unit because it integrates basically 2 sonar or depth finders, fish finders into one. It's probably not as good as a dedicated flasher for ice fishing, such as a Vexilar or some of the other models out there. But basically what this is that it shows you the bottom here, as you can see. In the inner circle, you have different depth levels available. You have 0, 12, 24, 36, exactly, etc. Now the bottom here is this dark red portion here that you see, and as the sonar indicates right now, it's at about 26.4, 27.6, etc, etc. Whatever you have here above the bottom is typically fish, or it could be some grass, algae, whatnot. If they move, it's fish normally. And whatever you see here as now it's just fooling with me because I'm just trying to demonstrate here. Obviously this is in a simulation mode, so it's going to do all sorts of weird things, but if we were out on the water ice fishing right now, I could exactly show you what I mean. Those lines here typically would represent your jig or whatever you're trying to fish with for the bottom fish, and if you see those lines moving up against that blue or green line that you're jigging up and down, then that means typically fish is coming up. Obviously the darker the line, the bigger the object. The third mode that you can display on the sonar is the split frequency, where you can have the 200 kilohertz and the 77 kilohertz side by side, so that you can see your narrow cone on one side and then your wide cone on the other side. That's particularly useful if you're prospecting new waters, if you want to see structure and objects on a wider sonar cone, but you also want to see practically exactly what's underneath the boat, so you can differentiate between the two. The fourth mode you have on your screen, which is, by the way, almost standard to how the device comes configured. The only thing I have added to the screen is the numbers section. You'll see that a bit later. But the fourth mode here is the waypoint map, which shows you your boat, your location, where you are, along with your speed, GPS heading, the depth of the water. But it typically also shows you the route that you've taken and where you've moved about. And you can zoom this in or out. As you can see here on the bottom right screen, I have the scale that changes as I move this up and down. And if I move left and right, then I can move the cursor to a specific location and then try to follow that route to go to that location. Now this is a GPS unit, so it shows you your location, it shows you your route. You can save waypoints on the screen itself, but it's basically just a blank screen. You don't have the lake or the river charts on it, and you cannot upload them. It's a pretty basic unit from that perspective, but it still gives you the opportunity to see exactly where you are on the water, save some waypoints so that you can later come back to them. This unit can save up to 5,000 waypoints, if I'm not mistaken, which is very useful. I don't think I would ever need to save 5,000 waypoints on it, but it gives you the capability to do so if you wish. And obviously, if you visit the lake a year later, or a body of water that you've been to before previously, you've found fish in one area, or you found some structure that you've saved onto the screen, then it's very easy to get back to that spot. Saving the waypoints is very practical, and having a unit that offers the GPS capability and the capability to see your route and saving your waypoints and your interest points is obviously amazingly practical. So that's a big plus right there. Fifth mode we have on the main screen that we can choose from is the waypoint map and the sonar screen side by side, and you can change that around to move them from the vertical split to the horizontal split. Go into layout configuration and you choose the split to be horizontally. You go back to your screen and there you have it. Now you have your waypoint map and your GPS location on the top of the screen, and you have your sonar on the bottom. Finally, the number section only shows you your GPS speed, heading, your coordinates, maximum speed you've traveled, and some other information that I don't really know how to use right now. User data, again, I haven't played too much with it, but obviously you can see your waypoints that you've saved before. This is in simulation mode, so it doesn't really show the real waypoints that I have. It's just some random waypoints, I guess, you can play around with. Track routes, you can probably search through your waypoints if you have named them. Another thing that's very interesting that I want to show you. So let's say you found some structure, for example here, this drop, and you see there's a bunch of fish around it and you want to save that. You have this little button here that's very practical. You just press it and you can actually save a waypoint on your GPS location, and then you can always come back to it later. So very, very practical. It's one button, saved, that's it. Conclusion and my personal opinion on the Garmin Striker 4 Sonar Fish Finder, Depth Finder, whatever you want to call it again. It is an amazing little device. In my opinion, there's nothing that comes close to it in the same price range as this one. In Canadian dollars, that's about $298 plus tax. In US dollars, I suppose maybe $100 less. So again, it's a bargain, especially for all the features it has, which once again, let's go through them. It has GPS, no maps. It has CHIRP technology, which gives you a much higher definition and better target separation. Transducer, suction cup mount, very useful when you're moving from one boat to another. 12 volt, 7 ampere hour battery that comes with the kit. You have the carrying case, base with the handle, very useful. Move this thing around all the time, so you don't have to leave it in one place, and you can use it on a kayak, on a boat, your friend's boat, whenever you're moving around from one boat to another. Very, very useful to have the portable kit. Finally, you have this piece of a pool noodle that you can use for the flasher mode, which means ice fishing. The way you set this up, just put the cable through it, like that. Get the transducer through that loop, Obviously, you don't have to have the suction cup mount still attached to it. You can take that off if you want for the winter. And there you go. Just drop this in the water. It's gonna float, stay maybe 1 foot below the ice, and there you go. You have a flasher for the winter. To round up my conclusion, this little device is just awesome in all the features and the functionality that it offers that is completely unmatched by any other budget-conscious sonars, fish finders, depth finders today on the market. And to give a little comparison, I've tried the Humminbird Piranha Max 197C Portable, which doesn't even have nearly half the functionality or the configurations that this one has. It has no CHIRP technology, and it doesn't come with a GPS, even though this one with GPS doesn't have the lake charts, river charts, you name them. I recommend this device to almost any angler out there except the bank fisherman, because you can move it around, you can use it on your kayak, your canoe, your friend's boat, you can use it in the summer, you can use it in the winter. It's very precise, nice definition screen, although it's not too big. CHIRP technology, GPS, good price, can't go wrong.